is a bit daunting to speak to a university class. And I'm hopeful that what I have to say will have some value to you. The fact of the matter is that, you know, it's not terribly academic. It's to a large extent anecdotal, and may be subject to all of the risks of the accuracy of such information. But I've been telling this story to so many people already around this state that I guess I'm stuck with it, too, or not. What the phenomenon here is that, I guess it's 4 years ago now, the Seattle Chamber of Commerce, in organizing for its annual leadership conference, which it typically holds in Vancouver, British Columbia, decided to make the subject of that conference the technology business in the state. And they asked me and a professor at the University of Washington to co-chair that conference. And it was an interesting phenomenon that, as we began to look at it, think about what the subjects would be, who the speakers might be, and that sort of thing, just how impressive to us what we were learning about what's happening in this state was. And, you know, I suppose if anybody in the world should have been alert and conscious of this, again, phenomenon, it was me, but I was not. And it was exciting. It was a revelation. The course of that, and where it really, really hit home, was that we asked 3 existing associations to come and meet with us and talk about the organization of the program for this conference. The Washington Software Association, the American Electronics Association, and the Washington Biomedical and Biotechnology Association. And as the executives from those 3 associations began to tell us what was going on, then the revelation was there, and that we were indeed experiencing something of a tidal wave in this area. So as a result of that experience, and then what was, I think, by all measures, a very successful conference, and a bunch of other people like myself who had come to the conference leaving with a sense of, wow, this is amazing. It seemed worthwhile to give some additional life to this idea and to form an organization, as mankind, particularly American mankind, tends to do. You create an organization, and we created the Technology Alliance, and one of the principal goals of that association is simply to have people understand this phenomenon and the really fundamental importance of the technology businesses to what's happening in our state. So, let's, okay. We set about to get as much data as we could, and the first thing we ran into is the really confounding question of what is a technology business, or what is a high-tech business. You know, I suppose if I paraded an array of names or activities here, you could vote yes or no as to whether certain businesses fit into that category or not, but the fact of the matter is that it's pretty imprecise. And you know, when you're starting to gather statistics, particularly out of the state's Employment Security Department, you've got to decide which industry you're going to include, or you can't develop any data. And we looked around, and what we found was that generally over the country, it certainly was not a problem unique to the state of Washington, that others have been thinking about this, that the definition, which has come to have some currency and general recognition, is that an industry is a high technology industry of more